Hollywood has always been shrouded in mysteries, but some cases go beyond the limits of what can be explained. Celebrities who suddenly disappear, only to reappear with slightly different features and unusual behaviors, raise questions about what is really happening behind the scenes in the entertainment industry. Small, almost imperceptible details catch the attention of observant fans who notice inexplicable changes in voice, posture, and even facial expressions. Could it all be simply a consequence of plastic surgeries, exhaustion, or aging? Or is something much deeper at play? Some theories suggest that cloning technology is already at an advanced stage, allowing public figures to be replaced without the public noticing. The idea may seem straight out of a science fiction movie, but records and patents indicate that this possibility could be more real than imagined. If this is true, who would be behind these supposed replacements? And above all, why would they do it? Welcome to another night where mysteries never sleep. I am Midnight, and this is 7 Nights. Before we begin, I'd like to ask for your help. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it makes a huge difference in helping YouTube deliver the videos to more people and allowing me to continue bringing this content to you. I'm counting on you. Let's get into the video. For decades, the appearance of celebrities has changed before the public's eyes. Some transformations are attributed to cosmetic procedures, aging, or even weight loss. However, there are cases where these changes occur suddenly and inexplicably, sparking suspicion. Small details, such as the shape of the face, jawline, or skin texture, seem to alter from one moment to the next without any apparent justification. Sure, everyone changes over time, right? But some changes defy all logic. It's not just a little plastic surgery here and there. It's as if the person were someone else. The case of Eminem, for example, has sparked heated discussions among fans and researchers. The rapper, who always had a distinctive face and intense gaze, reappeared after a long period of reclusion with a more symmetrical face and different facial expressions. His voice tone also showed variations, leading some to question whether he was really the same man. In old interviews, Eminem had a peculiar way of speaking, with specific pauses and intonations, but after his return, these characteristics seemed softened or absent. Another celebrity frequently mentioned in these theories is Avril Lavigne. The Canadian singer, who rose to fame in the early 2000s, disappeared from the media for a while and returned with a considerably different appearance. Although fans try to justify the changes as part of growing up, there are details that are hard to ignore. The shape of her nose, the thickness of her lips, and even the way she moves on stage seem different. Moreover, her personality and fashion style underwent abrupt changes, as if a new person had taken her place. Some biometric experts have analyzed old and recent images of these celebrities, comparing facial proportions, posture, and expressions. In some cases, the differences are subtle, but in others, they appear significant enough to raise suspicions. After all, why do some public figures return out of nowhere looking slightly different, while others maintain their appearance almost unchanged over the years? The phenomenon is not limited to musicians and singers. Hollywood actresses and actors are also targets of these suspicions. Megan Fox, for example, has undergone notable changes in her face, but there are moments when her features seem to revert to their original state. Is this inconsistency explained by poorly done plastic surgeries, or are we dealing with something more? Keanu Reeves, one of the most iconic actors of his generation, also generates discussions among theorists. The actor, known for his youthful appearance, is one of the few cases where the clone effect seems to work in reverse. Instead of abrupt changes, he hardly ages. This unusual preservation of his image raises another question within this theory. Could clones be created to appear immortal? Facial modification technology has advanced significantly in recent years. Procedures such as bone grafts, fillers, and even genetic alterations have become viable, making it harder to distinguish natural changes from possible replacements. But if this technology is available to the public, what could be happening behind the scenes in Hollywood, where access to secret resources is almost limitless? Another strange aspect is the behavior of these celebrities after drastic changes. Some famous figures seem to forget details of their own past, as if they were no longer the same people who lived those experiences. Old interviews are compared with new ones, and subtle inconsistencies emerge. Small slip-ups, such as forgetting the names of close family members or recounting events differently than they had before, catch the attention of fans and journalists. Moreover, there is the case of changes in body language. The way a person walks, gestures, and even smiles is as unique as a fingerprint. However, there are cases where these characteristics seem to undergo sudden alterations, as if another person had taken over that body. Could these changes be explained by emotional exhaustion, or are we dealing with signs of something much greater? The film and music industry demands a high level of control over its artists. They must follow strict schedules, maintain a flawless public image, and always be available to meet market demands. But what if, instead of dealing with human beings prone to flaws and exhaustion, a more practical solution was being implemented? Are the reports of unexplained changes and discrepancies in images and behaviors just coincidences, or is something bigger being hidden? If celebrity cloning is really happening, is it only being used to maintain the public appearance of these figures, or does it serve an even darker purpose? Over the years, several celebrities have suddenly vanished from the spotlight, only to reappear different, not just in appearance, but also in behavior and personality. These prolonged absences, often justified by rehabilitation or media breaks, raise doubts. What really happens to these artists during that time? One of the most emblematic cases is Britney Spears. After her public breakdown in 2007, the singer was removed from the media, and when she returned, her posture and expression seemed strangely different. Her interaction with the public became mechanical, and recent videos have only increased suspicions that something is off. Small details, such as changes in the way she speaks and the shape of her face, have led fans to question whether the person who reappeared was truly the same Britney. Another intriguing case is Kanye West. In 2016, the rapper was hospitalized under claims of mental exhaustion and disappeared for a significant period. When he returned, his behavior had drastically changed. Once impulsive and outspoken, Kanye seemed more distant and restrained. In interviews, he himself stated that he was no longer the same. But what exactly did he mean by that? Eminem, in turn, went through a period of seclusion between 2005 and 2009, and when he returned, fans noticed subtle but unsettling changes. His face looked slightly different, and his vocal tone had shifted. Moreover, old interviews compared to new ones revealed inconsistencies in his own accounts of his life. Natural changes or something deeper? Hollywood actors are not exempt from this pattern either. Jim Carrey, after a long absence, returned visibly more introspective. His interviews took on an almost philosophical tone, and he began making cryptic remarks about the entertainment industry. On one occasion, he stated that Hollywood was a fraud and that people had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. His words were ridiculed, but what if there was some truth to them? Dave Chappelle, known for his sharp humor, disappeared at the peak of his career and returned years later, physically different and with a more toned-down comedic style. He himself mentioned the extreme pressure of the industry, but could that alone explain his changes? The most curious part is that many of these celebrities had something in common before disappearing. All of them, in some way, challenged the Hollywood system. Some questioned exploitative contracts, others exposed industry secrets, or expressed a desire to walk away. But what if leaving this world is not a real option? Now, this part really gets me. Why is it always the most controversial figures, the ones who try to break free from control, that disappear? Could Hollywood have a plan B for those who don't follow the rules? The idea that clones or replacements might be used to maintain the influence of these figures may seem extreme, but technological advancements make this possibility less absurd. Artificial intelligence, genetic manipulation, and facial modification techniques are more advanced than the public realizes. If major corporations have access to these technologies, could they not be secretly applying them? Furthermore, what really happens in these rehabilitation processes that so many celebrities go through? Are they just conventional treatments, or is something more going on? What is clear is that when some of these figures return, they are never the same. And that leads to the most intriguing question: who is really in control of these celebrities? The idea of human cloning has always been treated as science fiction, but what if this technology is far more advanced than we imagine? Since the cloning of Dolly the sheep in 1996, the possibility of replicating human beings has ceased to be just a theoretical concept. Although official science denies the use of this technique on people, evidence suggests that secret experiments may have been underway for decades. Okay, I know this sounds like something out of a movie, but think about it. If they cloned a sheep back in the 90s, what's stopping them from advancing this technology in secret? One of the most controversial cases is that of Clonaid, a company that in 2002 claimed to have created the first human clone. Despite the lack of concrete proof, the mere possibility raised questions. If a private organization was already claiming to have this capability over 20 years ago, what could governments and elites be doing in secret? Moreover, advancements in genetic manipulation, such as CRISPR technology, allow for precise alterations in DNA, making it possible to create modified versions of individuals. This means that, theoretically, a clone could be genetically adjusted to maintain a specific appearance or even adopt predetermined behavioral traits. If these techniques are already being applied in biomedicine, what would be the true level of research taking place behind the scenes of major corporations? Conspiracy theories frequently mention ultra-secret projects that allegedly involve cloning and human control. One of the most cited is the Montauk Project, which is said to have conducted advanced experiments in the United States. While there is no definitive proof of cloning in this case, declassified documents confirm that the US government has conducted real mind manipulation tests, such as those in the infamous MKUltra program. If these practices were officially acknowledged in the past, how much further could they have advanced away from the public eye? Hollywood, as the center of the entertainment industry, would be the ideal setting for the application of such technologies. Public figures are constantly scrutinized, making it easier to notice subtle changes in their appearance and behavior. But what if cloning was not only being used to replace celebrities? What if it was also a tool for creating new media figures from scratch? Interestingly, some celebrities seem to appear out of nowhere, with no verifiable past. Investigations have already revealed inconsistencies in the biographies of some stars, such as conflicting stories about their childhood and youth. Are these just normal gaps in public records, or evidence of something more? Another factor that reinforces this theory is the advancement of artificial intelligence and deepfake technology. It is now possible to digitally recreate faces and voices with impressive realism. If these technologies are available to the public, what more sophisticated versions could be in use behind closed doors? Could some celebrities not be entirely human, but rather hybrids of cloning and artificial intelligence? Additionally, suspicious statements from certain personalities raise even more questions. Rapper B.O.B. has publicly claimed that the elite uses clones to replace influential people. David Bowie, before his death, mentioned in interviews that Hollywood harbored unspeakable secrets about celebrity control. While many dismiss these claims as absurd theories, could there be something behind these statements? If cloning is indeed being used within the entertainment industry, the main question is not just whether it happens, but why. Is it solely to preserve the public image of these figures, or to ensure their influence remains under control? And what if this technology is already being tested not only on artists, but also on political leaders, businessmen, and other figures of great power? Behind the glamour of Hollywood, rigid contracts and silent rules dictate the fate of the entertainment industry's biggest stars. While the public is sold the image of free and creative artists, reports from former celebrities and leaked information suggest a very different reality. Many artists, upon signing contracts with studios and record labels, find themselves trapped in almost unbreakable agreements, where every detail of their lives becomes meticulously controlled. But just how far does this control go? The theory that some of these figures are replaced when they become a problem for the industry gains traction when analyzing certain patterns. Many artists who express dissatisfaction with their contracts end up disappearing temporarily, only to return seemingly different, not just physically, but in personality, lifestyle, and even ideology. Is this merely the effect of the psychological pressure imposed by the studios, or could it be evidence of something much deeper? Cases like Britney Spears are frequently cited in this context. After her public breakdown in 2007, the singer was placed under a strict legal conservatorship that limited her personal and financial decisions. But one unsettling detail stands out. When she reappeared at events and on social media, her expression and behavior seemed strangely different. Had she simply been traumatized by the abuses she suffered, or had something else happened behind the scenes? The late rapper DMX also made cryptic statements before his death. He claimed that there was an invisible system controlling entertainment stars, punishing those who tried to step off the path laid out for them. Shortly after exposing this information, his health began to deteriorate rapidly. Was he the victim of a series of unfortunate events, or was he silenced? Another point reinforcing this theory is how frequently celebrities face legal, financial, or mental health issues right after challenging the industry. Kanye West, for example, began being labeled as unstable and unpredictable after making controversial statements about Hollywood's inner workings. Despite having been one of the most influential artists of the century, his public image was quickly dismantled. What happens behind the scenes when someone tries to break free from control? These contracts also appear to include extremely restrictive clauses. In 2019, singer Kesha fought a legal battle against her producer, Dr. Luke, alleging psychological and physical abuse. The most disturbing part? Even after years of fighting, she was still legally bound to release music under the label of the man she claimed to fear. If an artist can be forced to remain under control against their will, what would stop the industry from going even further and simply replacing them when convenient? Some theorists argue that studios and record labels do not see their stars as individuals, but as brands. Once a celebrity becomes extremely valuable to the industry, their personal identity ceases to matter. What's important is not the person behind the image, but the continuity of that brand, that face, that name. And if the most efficient way to ensure that continuity was to eliminate any undesirable human variables? Additionally, there are accounts of artists who completely vanish after trying to leave the system. Sinead O'Connor, who tore up a photo of the Pope on live television as a protest, had her career destroyed within days and spent years out of the spotlight. Amanda Bynes, a Nickelodeon star, suffered a mental breakdown and disappeared for nearly a decade, only to reappear with completely different behavior. Could these disappearances be part of a reprogramming or replacement process? Leaked documents from the music industry also reveal that some record labels include clauses allowing the use of voice and image doubles in certain projects. Officially, these clauses serve to protect investments in case of health issues or contractual impossibilities. But what if they are merely a discrete formalization of artist replacement? The companies controlling Hollywood have virtually unlimited resources, both financial and technological. If cloning were already a reality at this level, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that it could be used to maintain control over highly influential public figures? And what if these contracts concealed an even more terrifying truth, that once inside this system, the person who signed may never truly leave, at least not as the same person? Over the years, several celebrities have left cryptic messages about their own identity, as if they were trying to alert the public to something they couldn't openly say. These signals appear in interviews, social media, music videos, and even subtle changes in behavior. But are they merely coincidences, or real attempts to reveal a forbidden secret? One of the most discussed cases is Eminem. After his return to the media, he made strange statements about his memory and not feeling like himself anymore. In one of his songs, he mentions that he woke up one day different, as if inhabiting a new body. While this could be interpreted as a metaphor for personal changes, many believe it to be a disguised confession. Singer Avril Lavigne has also sparked suspicion. In several interviews, fans have noticed that she avoids directly answering questions about her past, showing discomfort with certain topics. Some of her songs, such as My Happy Ending and Nobody's Home, contain lyrics that could be interpreted as messages about identity loss. Could this be a form of coded communication? In Hollywood, recurring symbols and gestures catch the attention of conspiracy theorists. The excessive use of covered eyes on album covers and movie posters, for example, is often associated with the idea of hiding the truth. Another cryptic gesture is the finger over the lips, as if signaling silence. Interestingly, this symbol appears in promotional images of multiple stars who, coincidentally or not, have been the subject of theories about cloning and mind control. Actor Jim Carrey has openly joked about a secret club in the industry. During a TV show, he made a gesture forming an eye with his hands, and when questioned, he said that everyone there knew what he was talking about. The uncomfortable reaction of the host and audience made the moment even stranger. And Jim Carrey, huh? Out of nowhere, he starts dropping hints about Hollywood, and then suddenly disappears for a while. Seems like when people talk too much, there's always a forced break. Kanye West, meanwhile, has repeatedly stated that some people in the industry aren't real. On his social media, he has posted messages insinuating that celebrities are reprogrammed and that some are no longer the same. His claims were ridiculed, but if they were just delusions, why would he insist so much on the subject? Beyond cryptic statements, there are subtle and unexplained changes in certain celebrities' behavior. Some begin to avoid eye contact in interviews, while others struggle to recall simple details about their own careers. Previously charismatic and expressive artists return with neutral and emotionless expressions. Could these changes simply be the result of stress and fame, or are they signs of something more disturbing? Curiously, the film industry has frequently explored the idea of clones and human copies. Movies like Enemy, Us, and Gemini Man present narratives where individuals are replaced without realizing it. Is this just an artistic trend, or a way to prepare the public for a reality yet to be revealed? This pattern repeats in pop music as well. Lyrics about not being who I used to be, being trapped in a body I don't recognize, or waking up feeling different appear frequently. Are these just metaphors for the artist's emotional states, or attempts to communicate something without violating contract-imposed restrictions? If these clues truly suggest that clones or celebrity copies exist among us, it implies a deliberate effort to conceal this truth. The lingering question is, are these stars trying to warn us before it's too late? If the cloning or replacement of celebrities is truly happening, the biggest question that arises is, what is the real purpose behind it? Is maintaining the public image of these figures the only goal, or is there something much deeper at play? One of the most discussed theories points to absolute control over influence. Celebrities are more than just entertainers. They shape culture, behaviors, and even political trends. Replacing a public figure with an adjusted version would ensure that their influence continues to be exercised according to specific interests. This would explain why certain artists, once rebellious and outspoken, return to the public eye as much more passive and aligned with pre-established narratives. Beyond image control, there is also the economic factor. Celebrities generate billions of dollars through contracts with studios, brands, and tours. If a star decides to step away from the media or becomes a problem for their sponsors, it would be far more convenient to replace them rather than let such a profitable brand disappear. In the end, what matters to these massive corporations is not the individual behind the image, but the continuity of the brand and the revenue it generates. Another intriguing possibility is that of long-term experimentation. If human cloning truly exists and is in an advanced stage, Hollywood could be serving as a laboratory, testing the public's reaction to these replacements. What would happen if an extremely famous figure were substituted without anyone noticing? How far could a person be replicated without raising suspicion? There is also the hypothesis that some of these replacements are not just for commercial reasons, but rather to serve a greater purpose within a global manipulation system. Artists and influencers are key players in constructing narratives that impact millions of people. Ensuring that these figures remain under total control could be part of a much bigger agenda to steer society in a specific direction. Another curious aspect is the involvement of certain technologies in this process. Advanced artificial intelligences are already capable of mimicking voices and digitally recreating faces with perfection. If this technology is available to the public, what more sophisticated versions could be used by organizations operating in secrecy? Some believe that celebrity clones may not just be biological copies, but rather hybrid entities with genetic enhancements or even integration with AI systems. This would explain the coldness and lack of emotion observed in some of these figures after their returns. Cases of celebrities undergoing extreme and sudden changes continue to emerge, and with each new story, more questions remain unanswered. If all of this is real, then the entertainment industry may just be the tip of the iceberg. What would happen if this type of technology were applied to political leaders, influential business people, and other powerful figures? Whatever the real objective behind these potential replacements, one thing is certain: there are far too many strange details that cannot be ignored. And perhaps, in the future, this truth will come to light in a way that no one can deny. The drastic transformations in celebrities, the inexplicable disappearances, and the bizarre behaviors following their return to the media raise questions that go far beyond personal changes. There is a clear pattern in these events, a connecting thread suggesting that something much bigger is happening behind the scenes of Hollywood. Whether through cloning, psychological control, or technology still unknown to the public, the possibility of secret replacements cannot be dismissed. But how much truth does this theory hold? And more importantly, if it's real, why is this information still hidden? If celebrities can be replicated or reprogrammed to serve specific interests, who else might be involved in this kind of manipulation? What does this mean for society and the way we consume entertainment? The answers may still be out of our reach, but the signs are everywhere. And perhaps the right question isn't if this is happening, but since when? This story is just one piece, and one day, you might see the whole puzzle. If this made you think, subscribe, like the video. It helps the channel grow. Don't forget to share. After all, more voices mean more discoveries.